Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to my home, welcome to the office, welcome to the morning grind. It's cold this morning, but I got warm coffee here. I hope everybody is doing fantastic and has had a great week and is going to have a great weekend. It is good to see everybody here. Welcome. We're going to be talking about the Shadowdark virtual table talk top today. We have both table talk and tabletop around here, so sometimes it gets confusing. I've made all of the adjustments that we requested yesterday on yesterday's stream, so I'm pretty sure we'll take a look at it, but I'm pretty sure that what we'll do is we'll call this 1.0 at the end of the stream, where, there might be something else people see or that needs to be swapped around or something. But basically, I think we're to the point where we're going to consider this thing 1.0 and is completely playable. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't change as people play later. And we find out, actually, this works better. Or maybe we need this, or maybe we actually don't need something else. We can revise it to make it a better play experience. But I think we're just about to the point where we can call this version 1.0 after today, especially, and put that in the coffee shop. And then I'm behind because I would have thought that I would have gotten 2 RPGs built out by this time, but I only got 1. So I was going to go on and do the index card RPG after this. But I don't know. I'm going to contact them and see if their VTT can integrate with the coffee shop. If it can't, then I'll have to look at how to build something out for it. If it can, maybe it can, and it can be easy. But that's kind of the next thing. But then we need more people coming into the coffee shop, and we can start playing games. But then we'll have, if this becomes version 1, then we've got 7 different games that will be playable inside the coffee shop. So that'll be pretty good. I was going to do 2 RPGs, but this one took a while. The build outs took a while. I'm really excited about this as well because I'm ready to start building out some of my games in the coffee shop as well. It's an easy way to get them back out there and a way to be played, but also for future games, because we'll be doing some games for the Cultists. And I had a breakthrough this morning as I was sitting there thinking about a second breakthrough about dice mechanics for Faded Edge. I had one about a week ago or something, but then I had another breakthrough this morning. So I'm looking forward to, I need to make some notes on that because I wasn't in a place where I could write notes this morning. So I need to write some notes on that, and looking forward to coming back to that as well. So good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Good morning, Sable. Good morning. We've got Jason here and Charlie. Good morning. Yeah, I believe this is episode 400. I believe this is episode 400, as Charlie said. I can't guarantee that I numbered everything perfectly correctly over the past 400 episodes. But if it's not 400, it's close enough. So here's to 400 episodes of the Morning Grind. 400 Morning Grind episodes. And let's zip. Cheers to the Morning Grind. Good morning, Zero the Blade and Stray here. Yep. Thank you, Discord. Thank you, Stray, for putting in the Discord link. If you are new here, we would love to have you in the Raven Keep Discord. It's a lot of fun. Lynn says, I'm still boggled by the fact that it's colder down in Alabama than it's up here in almost Ontario. Oh, is it? We had tons of rain. I mean, I think a lot of places had tons of rain over the past few days, but we were definitely one of them. A few days ago, we didn't have storms, but as far as the longest time it's rained that I remember in at least a long, long time, it was almost like 20 hours worth of rain that it was just constant. And man, I washed out a whole bunch of stuff here at the house. Let's see. Oh, Stray gifted a membership. Thank you, Stray. Who got one? Oh, Judy got this. Oh, we know Judy. Judy got this, was gifted a membership. I think she was one of the ones who found us when the channel was raided last year. Thank you very much, Stray, for the membership gift. All right. Let's see. Well, what links do I have here? Okay, so over here, I do need to make up Table Talk thumbnails again. Let's see if I can find my list of stuff right here. Well, where's my links? Hey, I guess I'm going to put down my coffee. The channel was rated when I was playing Vexanadu. The channel was rated a year ago when I was playing Vexanadu. I ought to find that clip. That was funny. When I was doing a gaming stream about a year ago. That was the reason where it got rated, and that was the reason actually why that was my most streamed day ever, like the number of hours streaming. We had already streamed all kinds of things. That was in the middle of the OGL debacle, and I had already streamed for like 8 hours that day, and then I was streaming that night, and then it was something like 16 hours or something like that. It was the anti-flat earthers who rated me. Table Talk. That was fun. If you so it's one of the Vexanadu streams on the channel, so it's still live. I mean, you can see it. I should clip it out and do that. I got rated or something like that on the thumbnail. But yeah, it's one of the Vexanadus. It's probably one of the longer Vexanadu streams, and if you slip through it from about a year ago, you'll see some stuff. I didn't know what was going on. Like all of a sudden, all these people were showing up for the Vexanadu stream. So okay, Table Talk. Tuesday, Doug and I are talking about Star Trek Generations and Star Trek First Contact. We're going to try to do both of those on Tuesday. So that's going to be happening over on the Table Talk channel. We're going to try to do both of those. I don't have as much to say, I don't think, about those movies, and I don't really care too much about going forward with the movies. Mainly what I was telling Doug I want to talk about with those movies are comparing and contrasting some elements with the previous movies and why I think the previous movies had done better jobs of them. So I want to talk about that. Doug has some things to say. After that, the only thing beyond that was Star Trek. We do want to talk about Star Trek Picard Season 3. Doug's big on that, and he says I need to see it. But anyway, Tuesday, so we're getting close to finishing our series on Star Trek. So Tuesday, we'll do Star Trek Generations and Star Trek First Contact. And then Thursday, after that, so next Thursday, Cameron will be on with Doug to talk about feminine hero archetypes and the state of female characters and female-led stories in the context of books, Doug's book, The Heroine's Labyrinth. The Heroine's Labyrinth is going to be coming out soon. Doug doesn't have an exact date for it yet, but, he's anticipating February next month. So we've been organizing guests on Table Talk and our topics to go around or to be centered around feminine heroes in stories so that we can promote Doug's book. So that's the topics for next week. I got to make up thumbnails. I'll post them in the Discord server when I've got them. And then also, all right, I'm getting closer to finally being able to relaunch the Cultists. Hey, good morning. Good morning. You'll see some stuff. Let's see. Cultists. If you are not subscribed to the Cultist YouTube channel, I would love to have you over there. Because as soon as we get the coffee shop underway, which, like I said, I'm a little bit behind on, everything takes longer than you thought, then it's going to be all about the Cultist. We'll be doing some game design for the Cultist over here. If you are not familiar with the Cultist is my web show about modern-day Lovecraftian cultists who just want to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand. It is a mockumentary-style show over there on the channel. The first 3 episodes of Season 1 are posted. The episodes are only 5 to 8 minutes each. And we've shot 2 seasons. If we're going to be able to shoot more, man, I am under a severe time crunch to find the money to make that happen, to complete the story. So we will see. But we're going to make some games about it. The Morning Grind will be covering game design for some Cthulhu Cultist party games and an RPG that goes along with this. So we're going to be hitting this hard very soon. And then also, let's see, we're going to be talking about, here's our virtual tabletop right here for Shadowdark. If you'd like to come play, I called it the Gaming Tavern over here. I need to update this. But if you would like to play when the coffee shop opens, we'll do a test. The plan is still to do like a 10-person test. I'm just, I'm being obsessed with one task until it's done, which is why I was getting the Shadowdark thing done. But then the next thing will be to get some more promotion out there, to get the Gaming Tavern out there, or the gaming coffee shop out there. And then we'll do a test with about 10 people to make sure that everything's good. Then I hope we can start opening it up, and there'll be a place to play games as we start to develop also the Cultists, and then Faded Edge over here, and also different worlds. So that's why I kind of went out of order and went ahead and got on different projects as I was lining them up. I was trying to go ahead and get the coffee shop done so that the coffee shop will be an asset to us as we continue to go. And of course, there are other people here, I was going to say, who are making games and things like that. And so if somebody else wants to build out like their game, I'm highly recommending playingcards.io, and you want to use the coffee shop as playtesting space when it's open and have other people try out your things. I mean, people can do that too. That would be great. It'd be a community kind of thing. All right. I guess those are all my links right now. And that's kind of what's going on. I'm still considering, I texted, or didn't text, I emailed Ray Tessie last night, who owns Neutral Zone Studios, where they have the replica of the 1960 Starship Enterprise. And I asked him if he had Wi-Fi, if I was, if I was going to be able to stream there, because I don't really have a mobile streaming setup. And I was like, am I going to have to be able to stream from my phone or something? I mean, maybe I could, but I'm also not sure what kind of cell reception I have there, because it's not easy to check. But he did say there was Wi-Fi there, so I'm like, that would be next week. It's only 6 hours from my house. And I kind of forgot that. It's a little bit closer than I thought, because last time I went there, last year, I had to go. It was on a weekend where my father's family did Christmas. and I was like, all right, I've got to go. But I drove in the wrong direction to get to Kingsland, Georgia, in order to get to Christmas, and then had Christmas lunch with my father's side of the family, and then drove all the way to Kingsland, Georgia. Got there late one night, and then drove all the way back the next day. But if I just go from my house, it's only like 6.5 hours. It'll take longer with breaks or whatever, but it's only 6.5 hours. So I don't know. Should I go down there? All right, let's have our my coffee's getting cold until it's cold here. Let's have our morning ritual here, our morning sacrament, and then we will get to checking out what we've got with this VTT. Oh, come on. Books. Oh, by the way, speaking of Doug's book, one of the things that we are going to cover is Doug's book, Faraway Bird. Brianna has started reading it. That's his book about the Empress Theodora. And I'm going to do the audio book because Doug had custom music and created for it. So we're going to do that. We don't have a date for that, but it'll be reasonably soon. Man, well, maybe we're not going to do this because I can't get my. There we go. I got the text up now. I don't know why sometimes the iBooks acts up, but if you want to read the book before that, we're going to be covering that on Table Talk sometime between now when his book comes out. So someplace in the next month or month and a half, probably, we've got a slot for Faraway Bird. Okay. We just did Picasso. So here we are. Okay. Everybody got your drink, your favorite beverage this morning? I've got Witch's Brew this morning. Let's do breathing and sipping. 2 deep breaths in through the nose, complete exhales out through the mouth. Think about what you're doing. Think about the breathing. Don't think about anything else. This is your chance for a few moments of mental solitude. Just think about breathing, and then everybody take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. Let's breathe. And sip. All right. Today's passage from Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. The professional has compassion for herself. I got the chance a few years ago to watch a famous trainer work with his thoroughbreds. I had imagined the process would be something hardcore like Navy SEAL training. To my surprise, the sessions were more like play. The work was serious, as in teaching the 2-year-olds to enter the starting gate, and the horses were definitely learning. But the trainer took pains to make the schooling feel like fun. When a horse got tired, the trainer took him off the track. If a mount got bored or restive, the trainer never forced him to continue or drove him through the pain. He explained, "A horse is a flight animal. Even a stallion, if he can, will choose flight over confrontation. Picture the most sensitive person you've ever known. A horse is 10 times more sensitive. A horse is a naked nervous system, particularly a thoroughbred. He's a child, a 3-year-old, big and fast as he is. He is a baby. Horses understand the whip, but they don't want a racer that runs away. But I don't want a racer that runs that way. A horse that loves to run will beat a horse that's compelled every day of the week. I want my horses to love the track. I want my exercise riders have to hold them back in the morning because they're so excited to get out and run. Never train your horse to exhaustion. Leave him wanting more." All right. Trey says, "My breathing gets shallow in anticipation for breathe and sip, but then again, I live on Heath's hard drive." All right. Yeah, that is a good chapter. We're going to have to think about what the next book is after this one. before we're completely done. All right, let me bring back up the VTT. Hey, if you're here, please do like the stream. There may be other people out there this morning who are hanging out here on YouTube and just don't know this is going on and would love to be hanging out with us. But YouTube's algorithm just hasn't told them. So if you hit the like button, maybe it'll push it out to more people. And then people out there who just want to hang out and talk about games will know that we are here. All right, so here we are in, we could do then As a Man Thinketh. Okay, I'll think about that one. I don't know that one. I'll look that one up. So here we are in basically what I'm thinking is our version 1 of the VTT. So I'm not going to go over everything that's here because you saw a lot of it yesterday. But I'm going to confirm over here. I got my list, even though it's got a bunch of lines marked through it. I think I can still read what was there. So I think we updated everything that was necessary from yesterday. So I did make character tokens. So this took time, but I was trying to figure out how we can do this. And Daniel had brought up the idea, well, we could just do that by class. And that's a pretty reasonable thing to do. But on the other hand, because my thinking was with that, you can assign different colors to yourself. So one thing that you could do, or what I had been thinking of, and maybe this will be used in a different game setup, is that because you can change colors of your seat over here, I could grab the RBG values of those color swatches and then put them on different tokens, or like a ring around a token, because we've got like multiple fighters. There are 3 fighters here. So how do you know which fighter is you if it's just a fighter token? Well, I thought that, we could make the rings of the different colors, different fighter symbols, a different color, and that could match it to your seat. That works. That also would work real well for streaming, so that if somebody is streaming a game, you could tell which player is which character on the board, because it would match the color with their player and their token. So might use that in the future, but I just went ahead and went with a burgundy outline, Hero Quest reminiscent. So whenever I think of a color for a hero, I go ahead and I think of Hero Quest, because they come in the burgundy red, the deep red. Let's see. And what I did was I went ahead and generated a new image for both male and female of all of our different character types. Excuse me. I like our female goblin thief there. That's our male bard. So I'll show them to you. So, I mean, I like them better. I like it better. So rather than going the symbol route, I just did this. So we got male dwarf, female dwarf, male cleric, female cleric, male ranger, female ranger, male elf wizard, female elf wizard, male elf fighter, female elf fighter, male wizard, female wizard, male halfling thief, female halfling thief, male goblin thief, female goblin thief, male bard, female bard, humans, both of these humans, half elf, female half elf fighter, half orc, female half orc fighter, and then male half orc fighter. So I really like that. So people may want to like look at the pictures and decide which character they want to play based on the particular image. So I'm glad I went ahead and did that. Eli says, not to sound like a downer or a critic, but I have a legit question. Why a custom VTT? What are we seeking that we don't get from the dozen other options? Okay, so great question. So why do this? Well, so this is built out in playingcards.io. And one of the main advantages that this has, one advantage this has is that it's a very simple interface. I'm looking for a very simple interface that can do a lot of different games, because I want, I built out, this is the 7th game that I built out using this particular interface. And I want people to be able to come in and have a standard interface, because actually I've got 3 different levels of learning. This is kind of what bothers me about the coffee shop, or what gives me a little bit of trepidation, I guess, about the coffee shops. There are 3 levels of learning. You come into the coffee shop software, and you need to learn the coffee shop, navigating around the coffee shop. It's not hard. I mean, none of this is hard. But when you've got 3 different levels, you multiply complexity. So you've got the coffee shop software that you walk in and you walk around, and you're able to connect with your video calls to people that are also walking around. You find your tabletop and you sit down at your table, and then you connect to the virtual tabletop software. So I want the same virtual tabletop software to be able to play a lot of different games. So one of the issues with other virtual tabletops that we had out there was that, especially the ones that put a lot of information or hard code a lot of the game into the software, it does that game very well, like 5th edition very well. But then if you say, hey, let's do Fate with it, it can't do that because it's not general. So I needed a general VTT that I could build out multiple games in. That way people, once they know how to manipulate things in this, how to turn over cards, how to shuffle cards, how to move tokens around, how to do all the things inside this, then you can play multiple games with it. Now, of course, that means that there's not a lot of hard-coded, or actually no hard-coded information in here. But that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off. Also, it's important that the virtual tabletop software interfaces with the coffee shop software. So we were looking at that, and we've got some of the existing VTTs that integrate with the software and others that do not. This happens to very easily integrate with it. So we're able to integrate those 2 systems very easily. Now, that's I'm going to talk to the Index Card RPG guys next to see if their custom tabletop for Index Card RPG integrates with the coffee shop. In that case, I'm kind of violating the rule about having one software system to run multiple games. But it would be cool if they built a custom VTT for that game specifically, with hard-coded information and stuff. And if it integrates and you're trying to play Index Card RPG, maybe it's worth it to have that. I don't know if it's going to integrate or not. I haven't gotten to that yet. But I guess those are the main reasons: ease of use, lightweight, replicable across multiple games, and integrating into coffee shop software. So not a downer or a critic at all. That's a great question. That's what we're trying to do here. Yes. So those were Midjourney created. So it still took a while. I did not draw those. It still took a while because you had to generate them, and I had to find ones that I liked, and then I had to clip them and put the ring on it from the graphic design perspective and all of that. So not nearly as long as if you had to draw it all, but I mean, getting this all set. But now it's there. Now it's there. Oh, awesome. Great. That was a good question for anybody who might be coming in. That's what the objective here is. So, okay. So we did get character tokens. So I'm happy about that. So it did improve if we're doing this. We also have enemy tokens now. We don't have room for infinite enemies. So we're saying this is just an issue of tabletop RPGs in general. We have a constraint here about what can be on the board because there's only so much room. So we're having to go old school with our enemies. I think that's just going to be a feature of this with RPGs, because unlike something like Hero Quest, which I built out, which just has, is it 10 monsters or whatever in the core set? I'm not sure, but they're 10 monsters. They all need to be individually identifiable. That's not that many. They can all go on the board, each have a custom icon. You can see exactly what it is. But in a game, an RPG like Shadowdark, well, we can have an infinite number of monsters because there are tons of them in the book, but then also you can come up with all kinds of custom stuff on the fly and make your own monsters. So there's no way to make a comprehensive stack of tokens, especially that could all fit on this board. So what I did is I just made up some generic tokens. I made up, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got 6 different kinds of tokens over here. So I got 6 different bad guy tokens. So you can put them out. Oh, by the way, the hero tokens, when you click them, they flip over. So there's a skull. So if you see a skull over there, you know somebody's down and is on their death timer. And of course, that's what these skulls are over here. So you could put your skulls for your death timer on around the edge of your character, or you could put them over here by your player. Oh, by the way, I guess the third level, when I was talking about the different systems being integrated for the coffee shop, the 3 different layers. First is learning how to use the coffee shop, which isn't that hard. But then you sit down and you learn how to use the software itself, the tabletop software itself. The third level beneath that is how to play the game that you're playing. So once you know how to use the tabletop, then you need to actually learn how to play Shadowdark or learn to play Dominion or Hero Quest. So that's 3 levels: the coffee shop, the tabletop interface, and then the game itself. Those are the 3 layers that I'm talking about. So I want to make sure that we're easing everybody through all 3 of those layers. If it works well, I think it's going to work well and be really great. But that's what I'm thinking about. But you can flip those over and you see the skull, and then track your death timer with these skulls. You can also, if this guy is carrying the torch, that's why I've got the little torch icon over here. So you can set the torch on that person. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. So there we go. But we got, so like some type of goblin here, some type of zombie, some type of skeleton, some type of brigand or highwayman, some type of crazy cultist, and then like a wolfman or a warg or something like that. So, so those should be able to use for whatever type of monsters you have. They're just intended to be generic. Of course, others can be loaded in if you're doing something special, but those are loaded in. But I got 5 of them stacked up, and they are numbered. So, you know, if you need to, you know, the Game Master is probably also tracking things by pen and paper while they're running. But number 1 right here, each one of them has a number on it. So that if you need to, oh, this is skeleton number 1, skeleton number 2, you've got 5 of each, and they're all individually numbered. So those are out there. So we took care of character tokens, and we took care of enemy tokens. Lynn says the layers of learning are like a cake. I like cake. Yes, but once you learn the coffee shop software, like I said, it's not hard. It's like point and click. It's pretty easy. Or you know, walk around with the arrow keys. Once you got that, then you connect the table. Once you got the table, all you're doing is learning games, which is what we want to do anyway. There's a lot of games. I mean, a lot of us already know how to play games. They just don't get to play them enough. Already have the rule books and things like that. But also, I want people to be able to learn to play games. If you don't know how to play the game, don't worry. Please still come over and sign up and be taught how to play the games. A new game. So I did add another crawlers kit, a stack of cards for the crawlers kit, because this is set up for 7 players, which is a lot, but 1 game master and up to 6 different players. My potion of healing is sitting on top of the game master seat. I'll have to move that. Okay. Well, let's see. Why don't we slide these over here? A lot of the stuff you're going to get off the table anyway once you start playing. This is just your initial setup so you can get characters, put them all down in your hand. If you haven't seen this, like if I'm going to play the dwarf here, I can move the dwarf down into my hand and then take my dwarf token. You know, I'll end up putting the dwarf token out here on the board so that you know where I am. But it comes down here into my hand, and you just hover over it. And then you hover over basically anything that pops up as an enlarge, so you can read your character sheet and know what's going on. And then I could sit down in a particular space and then adjust my hit points and my armor class appropriately. So this is the initial setup for grabbing a character, getting started. I've got a quick reference to the game on the back of everybody's character sheet. Click to flip over a card. So because I have set up for 6 players, I got 6 different, and it doesn't mean that we have to, obviously. That's a lot, but kind of expect 4 or maybe 5 might be more common. But we do have all the cards set up because you need to manipulate your inventory like we talked about yesterday. So everybody started with a crawler's kit, basically. So I set up a stack of cards for a crawler's kit. So we do have 6 crawler kits up there. What else? Oh, so healing potions. I established a magic item deck, but I didn't make all of the magic items. But I went ahead and made a magic item deck with just 2 in here. I don't know how often you use potions of healing in Shadowdark, but it just seems like something you should have. And a potion of healing does take up 1 slot. The reason I made a card for it is because it is a 1-slot thing. So you got to manipulate your inventory if you pick up a potion of healing. So the game master can put that in their hand if they need to give out a potion of healing. I got 2 potion of healing cards here. So added that. I decided not to add attack marbles, like to indicate attack strength. You just have to reference your card for that. The character sheet did not need to flip over when you leaves your hand. Did I fix that? Yes, I did fix that. I fixed that about a couple of different cards. That was just minor tweaking there. Okay. The weapons don't turn over. I fixed the equipment cards here, had an issue that they were not properly formatted with their description. So I fixed that. That was minor tweaking here. Okay, gold tokens. So we made denominations over here. So I didn't make denominations of silver or copper because they're 10 to a gold coin. Now that might still matter. It certainly might still matter. So maybe we need, see, we're running out of space here on the gaming table. It might still matter. We might end up needing them because it would matter if you find a treasure hoard of 5,000 copper coins, you know, or 2,000 silver coins or something, because you've got to be able to haul the treasure out. And you can only, your first 100 coins are free as far as your inventory goes. But then after that, you got to take a coin card and you can hold up to another 100 coins. So it actually does matter whether you find 2,000 silver coins or 200 gold coins. That will matter within the game. So maybe there should be denominations for silver coins. I'm not sure how often that comes up. I haven't really gotten deep into the treasure tables. But when we were setting up the character and we're putting in the amount of gold that we've got, like this guy's got 26 gold, 15 gold. Some of them had more than that, like 36 and 38 or something. 45. I didn't want to have to count out individual gold coins. So we got denominations of 5, 10, and 50 gold coins so that the gold coin situation doesn't immediately annoy you when you're sitting down and trying to make a character. So we got that. And the same situation with arrows. The bolts. B is for bolt. A is for arrow. So you've got single arrows and bolts over here. And then you've got stacks of 5 over here. I meant to say yesterday, from a game design perspective, this is the kind of thing that you think of, especially when I'm trying to create digital, physical things like this. I think I might not distinguish between arrows and bolts from a game. I completely understand why you want to do it. I mean, I come out of a very simulationist kind of perspective on gaming. That was what I really liked, especially in high school and in college. So, of course, arrows and bolts are different because you can't put a crossbow bolt in a longbow, after all. But that's just more stuff that's sitting there over there on the table. I think in my game anyway, I would not actually track ammunition of arrows. That doesn't mean you have an infinite supply. But in this game, it's kind of implied that you're going to have that you are tracking arrows because you get 20 arrows or 20 bolts. So you'll have the tokens down here. And then once you shoot, if you're the archer, you'll give up a token and that lets you track your ammunition. I do like that. I like tracking it. If I'm going to track it, I'd prefer to track it digitally physically, than just having to mark it off, mark off individual things and erase it from my sheet and so forth. So I understand the reason for this, but I was looking at in the game here, looking at Shadowdark, and it seems like the only reason to track arrows and bolts separately, I'd like to talk to Kelsey about this. We can ask the design decision here, is because in game, if somebody's run out of crossbow bolts, they can't hand you longbow arrows. Somebody else can't hand you longbow arrows. I'm like, oh, well, I haven't shot my longbow, or vice versa. I'm all out. The elf is all out of longbow arrows. And the priest says, well, I've got a few extra crossbow bolts here. Use those. So that's what you're trying to prevent, right? But from a game mechanic perspective, like, other than that, like, how much do you really care and how often does that really come up? I don't know. Because in this case, both arrows and crossbow bolts carry 1 to 20 per item slot. So in one slot, you can carry up to 20 arrows or 20 bolts. And they both cost exactly the same. They both cost 1 gold coin for 20. So there's no mechanical difference between arrows or no cost mechanic difference between arrows and crossbow bolts. Neither one is more expensive to operate. A crossbow does cost 8 gold coins in the beginning, and a longbow costs 9, a short bow costs 6. So there's a little bit of but that's still not much. You know, you could, I mean, if you roll low on your gold in the beginning, then it might matter. I happen to roll really high on my gold for most of the characters. So the difference between 2 gold coins to get a longbow versus a short bow versus a crossbow or whatever, really not significant. And the ammunition is not significant. So when I'm just looking over here from a gaming perspective, from the game perspective, especially when trying to represent things physically, differentiating between arrows and crossbow bolts over here is taking up a lot of real estate for what I feel is not a terribly significant part. I don't, what in a way that I don't feel has commiserate import on the game itself. So I've been thinking about a lot of these things as I was building this out as far as game design goes, in order to be able to put a game physically, digitally, in a virtual tabletop like this. Len says, how many hours have you put in so far to set this up? I don't know. Yeah, I've been working on it for a week now. I spent a lot of time Tuesday prepping other things, like prepping for the table talk that night. What did we talk about on table talk last week? I can't remember. But I remember prepping for that quite a bit. And then I prepped for my interview 2 days ago with Vic quite a bit. So I've been obsessed with it, getting this right for about a week, although not every ounce of my obsession has gone toward it. So I can't say exactly. I'm hoping that in the future, other build outs go faster, because first of all, I've kind of figured out how to do it, what the best way to manipulate it is for a role-playing game. And, you know, a lot of these role-playing games have, you know, the same, you need the polyhedral dice, you need the character sheets, you need very similar kinds of stuff. So I'm hoping in the future this goes faster. But also, if I were building out, like if I were designing a game and building out at the same time, it would also be more efficient and faster. So I don't know. It takes a little bit of time. Len says you just need a generic category, the tension propelled long distance enemy penetration device. Yes. Let's see. Okay, so what else do we do? That was okay, gold. That was denominations for gold and arrows and things. Add. Okay, I decided we don't need the counters. Like these things over here. These are just generic marbles to put on the board as whatever marking things, or you can put them in your hand. So if you need to indicate that you've got like a gem or a jewel or some other type of magical item or something that you want to make sure that you know who's got it, and if it takes up a slot or something especially, you can just use those. I fixed some of the headings on these. And then I did also export boards. I don't want to move all this stuff off the board right now, but I did give us some more board exports. So you can see, if you haven't seen, we got like a dungeon pizza set up since for a board here. Once all this stuff is removed after gameplay, you've got basically a dungeon pizza right here. And I talked yesterday about how my improvement to the dungeon pizza board is by adding zones and sectors, these quadrants, to the dungeon pizza. So we've got one board here, but I've got several other boards that you could choose. Forest boards, different textures for caverns and things. That way, if you're trying to set a different kind of feeling for a different kind of location, the game master can swap out the board. They've all got the dungeon pizza quadrants on them. Dungeon pizza set up into quadrants on them. So I did export that. Oh, and also, and then I removed because of theming, I had started. Wait, what? I wanted to remove these pictures on the armor because I thought it was strange now that we've got these colored pictures. I didn't get a chance to generate all of the images for all of the equipment and all of the weapons. Can do that later sometime, I suppose. But I was going to remove actually these images on the armor, but they are still there for some reason. Because I thought it was odd now that the armor has stuff. If I were to generate them again, I would generate them all in this style. Like the tokens over here don't bother me. Like that, this doesn't bother me being colored. But for some reason, that's not working. I need a different sized image there, and I think that the card art needs to match the ink style. So let me make notes. That's the first thing that I found that needs to be adjusted. Remove armor images. That sounded like a short list. We went through that list kind of fast for the amount of time it took. I got something else to show you here, but so that's where we got. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's time to play test that. But of course, I want to do one other thing. I want to do one other thing. Because I like 0 level play. No, I don't know about it in this game. I haven't ever played in this game, but I do like the idea of the 0 level play, and this game does have the gauntlet idea. So this has all the characters starting at level 1. But I wanted to see if I could do a 0 level setup for 0 level. So I started playing around with that. So let me show you the 0 level stuff. But first, let me warm up my coffee because I said it's cold in here and my coffee is getting ice cold. So quick Yeti hug break, and then we'll take a look at the 0th level setup for a gauntlet.
Oh, it's time for a Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break, Yeti hug break. Everybody go hug yo Yeti and show yo Yeti some love.
All right, I'm back. Has anybody played a 0 level gauntlet? I think it's that I'm not sure. That's another thing I'd like to ask Kelsey about is why the 0 level gauntlet is set up this way. So it's not a funnel. I guess you could play it. I mean, play it however you want to play it. But it's interesting that you're supposed to take in this, according to the raw, 1 0 level character at a time out. Let me, I'll put the link to the Gaming Tavern again right here. So if you like this and you want to try to get in on it, link to the Gaming Tavern. Please click that link and let me know that you're interested. So I'm not quite done. Well, didn't actually send that. There we go. So I started building this out. I got to get rid of some things. I want to get rid of anything that's not necessary. Like you don't need spells. But you need your luck tokens, I guess. You need your rations. You need your arrows. And you were going to pick something else up. The only 3 weapons. Let me look over here. You're supposed to generate 4 0 level characters. And you get hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. But I do think the starting gear is kind of weird. I would also like to ask her about this. It says starting gear. I'm on page 33 of the Shadowdark book. It says starting gear. 0 level characters start with 1d4 of the following items. So you start with 1d4 items. So you randomly generate the number of items that you have. And then once you know the number of items that you've got, then you generate your gear on a D12. So you roll D12 and you can get torch, dagger, pole, short bow and 5 arrows, rope 60 feet, oil flask, crowbar, iron spikes, flint and steel, grappling hook, club, and caltrops, 1 bag. So that's 12 different items. Note that does not guarantee you a weapon at 0th level. I think I would have at least allowed every 0th level character to have a weapon, because I noticed when I was doing random generation on Shadow Darklings of 0th level characters that some of them didn't have anything in the attack column. I didn't try to create a bunch of 0th level characters. I was like, all right, like we did with the others, I was like, let's randomly generate some 0th level characters. So Shadow Darklings was very good at that. But I noticed that there was a lot of people, or a lot of those characters that were generated that had nothing in the attack box. And I was like, wait, what is that? Why is that? And I went, oh, it's because you don't have to have a weapon. The only weapons that are available on that gear list are dagger, club, or short bow with 5 arrows. Those are the only 3. So that means there's only a 1 in 4 chance you get a weapon. You get 1d4 items, and for any of those rolls, it's only a 1d4 chance you get a weapon. I think I would have changed that, and I would have said that. I mean, if we want to say that 0th level characters are only allowed to have daggers, short bows, and clubs, okay, I'm fine with that. Let's go with that: dagger, short bow, or club. But I would say, why don't we do that as a D3 or a D6? You know, with 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. You do it that way. But why don't you say that you start with 1d4 items? Your first item is always rolled on a weapons list, and then all the following items are rolled on the other gear list. Like, I think I would have done that so that everybody would have a weapon, because as I was looking for, I was like, wait, if you don't have a weapon, can you do an unarmed attack? Are these 0th level characters supposed to be going in for an unarmed attack? And there's no rule in here about an unarmed attack. So, of course, the game master can make some kind of ruling on that. But if you're a 0th level character and you don't have a weapon, what are you supposed to do? So when I generated a whole bunch of characters, and then I only took characters that actually had a weapon. But actually, I think that one character snuck in. That does not. But that's why I got this is not very elegant. I've got to clean this up. So I've still got to fix this up after the stream here. But that means that club, dagger, and short bow are your only weapons, but you can pick up other weapons. So the weapon deck needs to be here because you might pick up other weapons as you go during your gauntlet. And so you might need arrows and bolts and things like that over here. And I just put all of the characters so that if you generate some characters, then just pick some of the images that look best to you and that you most like, rather than generating new ones. Sable says they just do 1 damage on a successful attack unless they scrounge up a weapon during their funnel. Yeah, that's I think the way that a lot of people were saying that. Well, because you can't really give more damage than that. A dagger does D4. So what do you do with a punch? It seemed like on Reddit, a lot of people were saying, well, maybe it should just be 1 damage. You could do that too, 0 or 1. Yeah. What do you have? So I went. That's the way I went. I once made it kill. Yeah. Well, you could do that. So I got short bows. I got the other weapons over here. So I got to make it back to the cards, back to the player stack. So this is a stack of 24 level 0 characters. So what we should be able to do is we should be able to shuffle them up. You can shuffle them up and then deal out 4 cards randomly to people. I want to put like the rules summary on the back again, but there you go. You can deal out 4 cards to everybody, and then there are your characters. You can run them like a funnel, or you can run them, I guess, in gauntlet style, however you want to. There's not a whole lot to track. I mean, you got to track hit points somehow. That's why I left this up over here. So if you're running them in gauntlet style, then your hit points and your AC will be heads up. If you're running them funnel style, then there's no way we could put potentially 24 of all of those counters up here. So that'd have to be tracked off of screen. But whatever, that's just the way that it is. But like, for instance, this is Gam Coddle, a halfling herbalist who has got a club, 1 bag of caltrops, flint and steel, and oil flask. So if you want to get out the cards, I'm going to leave the equipment cards over here. But I guess if you're running them gauntlet style, you can make sure you had the right equipment cards and things. I think I've got the spell cards slid over here to the side. You don't need the spell cards. I don't think you're ever going to need them at level 0. Maybe you find, I don't even know if you find, yeah, it probably doesn't even matter if you find a scroll or something. So those can probably be removed to clean this up. Armor, nobody starts with armor, but you can, you could find armor, I would think. So I think the armor card should stay here. Club, flint, steel, oil flask, 1 HP, AC 8. We got Drabs to Lug, half orc, sailor, lawful, with a dagger, AC 11. Aaron, elf, sailor, lawful, club. So I think this might be fun. I've done one of my favorite campaigns. I know I've said was or it wasn't a campaign. It was a session. Was at level 0 characters at AD&D. We didn't run that like funnel or gauntlet. We were just playing our characters at first level, 0th level, starting them there. But playing with this kind of thing could be a lot of fun. Could also be funny, but could also be very serious too. Gobruft, half orc. We got a lot of sailors. I drew a lot of sailors over here. And plus, it's probably fun just to deal them out like this. Oh, wait a minute. So that might be it. So this guy actually ended up with no weapon. Irakat, the goblin cult initiate, only has a grappling hook. So as I thought I had seen somebody. Let me just see who this is. So Ikaret has no weapon. Let's just keep going and check this out. Hod, halfling acolyte, has a short bow with arrows. Flugger, the goblin mercenary, has a club and some caltrops. Skullgrot, the half-orc urchin, has a dagger and some flint and steel. Now here, torches may end up being a thing. You got no money, so hopefully somebody draws. Do any of these people have a torch? Because having to roll, you had to roll the torch. Okay, so Aaron the elf has a torch. Oh, it's the only. Is that the only one we've seen have a torch so far? Ranov has 2 10-foot poles and a short bow. Orphaned elf. Trigico has a club, 20 iron spikes. Man, he loves those 20 iron spikes. He's a Churgeon. Club. Ogdob, half-orc scholar with a short bow. Nax, the human scout. He's got a club, a dagger, and 2 torches. That guy's ready. A club and a dagger and 2 torches. He is ready for adventure. A human scout. Brahm, halfling ranger, has a club, a club, and a short bow and a torch. Man, he is also ready for adventure. Club, short bow, and torch. Drablub, half-orc barbarian. I did see this guy. This guy's hilarious. He's the half-orc barbarian, and he brings 2 clubs, a dagger, and a short bow. That's perfect. That's perfect. So he can hand out things to other people if they need them. Maybe get some torch from somebody else. But that's hilarious that the half-orc barbarian that was generated brought 4 items. You get 5 free arrows if you get the short bow. He brought 4 items, and 2 of them are a club. 1 of them is a dagger, and 1 of them is a short bow. That guy's fun. Calandra, a human mercenary, brought short bow, crowbar, iron spikes, and a rope. Sounds ready for adventure. Alm, halfling, a wanted halfling, brought a club and a pole. Balbag, goblin noble, brought a dagger, caltrops, and flint and steel. You also need flint and steel to light the torch. Have him trade 10 spikes for a 10-foot pole. 1 spike per foot. Maybe somebody else is going to need it. Thorn, dwarf, Thorn, the wanted dwarf, has a short bow, flint and steel, and a pole. Carnal, the elf minstrel, has a dagger, grappling hook, and a torch. Alder, the halfling thieves from the Thieves Guild, has a dagger, 2 flint and steels, and a torch. Kalev, the elf barbarian, has a club, dagger, flint and steel, and rope. Ugsler, the half-orc Thieves Guild, has a dagger, flint and steel, and 2 oil flasks. Mark, the halfling herbalist, has a club, a short bow, a crowbar, and a grappling hook. And then Bomb. This guy's name is Bomb. Bomb, the halfling scholar, has a short bow, flint and steel, and a torch. So I think that's fun. But I need to remove Ikrat, because he's the one that does not have... see, maybe I don't need to have all these clubs and daggers and short bows, because you're going to have 4 down here with you. So maybe it's easy enough just to reference what your damage is. Oh, that's Ikrat. Maybe it's easy enough just to reference, because I think it's inelegant to have all of these different versions of daggers, so take 1 for each character. I think that does not need to happen. I mean, you could put... I guess you could separate... Yeah, you could separate your gear. You could do that. If they're picking stuff up, if you're running them in gauntlet style, let's just see. This is what these tests are for. So if I got these particular characters, and this guy's got a short bow, oh, I can stick it on top of it. Or beside it. I didn't know I could stick it on top of it. Well, so maybe that would let you see at a quick glance what your weapons were, or you could put your equipment down there too. So maybe you've got also a grappling hook. That would also let you know your item slots. Maybe I should keep it. I don't know. Yeah, he'd better be the party pyromantic with a name like Bomb. So I'm trying to work out the elegance there just to see. So we'll see. But that seems like fun. That seems like fun. Might be fun to, well, I mean, play a 0 level fight or something like that. Everybody would die. But okay, so I guess I got a few more things I got to do then. What happened to what was the first thing on the other one? Oh yeah, the armor. I need to remove I'm going to remove the armor imagery and then remove this and then get this set up a bit more elegantly. So I hope I don't have much more time. I'm going to try to finish this all today. Hopefully in the next couple of hours here. Then I can at least contact the index card RPG people, see if it's easy to integrate their stuff. If not, then I may think about building out the index card. Or I'm going to look at what it would take to build an index card RPG. But I also want to do some standalone videos once I know that this is finalized on how to use it. I'll put those out on the channel, and then we'll get people who are interested signing up. That'll be the next step. Sable says, every time I read Shadowdark or see someone setting things up for it, I get the urge to run a session of it in Veins of the Earth. Wait a minute. What was that? Was that from Lamentations? I was thinking about, is Shadowdark going to be a good one for West Marches kind of thing? I think for West Marches, I don't remember exactly what we settled on, because there's a lot of different kinds of options if we were to do something like that. So I was wondering, man, am I going to need to set up another... I'm not going to set up an infinite number of different games. I'll set up ones that I'm designing. But over time, we can add a few more. I know some other ones that I would like to add. But we do need whatever would be the best West Marches style game. So that could be just the flat rules cyclopedia, we said. Or it could be the old school, the OSR box. OSE. Oh, OSE. OSE box. Could be OSE. But didn't we also look at Lamentations? I remember looking at Lamentations. Yes, Veins of the Earth is general OSR, but was designed around Lamentations. So we might need one eventually that would be, or could be, that would be good for a West Marches style thing. So I don't remember what game we decided on. Maul's Ritter would also be fun to build out. But once we got 7 or 8, that'll be what we got for at least a little while. Unless somebody else would like to build out their things. Or a game they really like. Can totally do that too. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. Thank you very much for being here with me this morning. Let me put this link to the tavern one more time so that if you want to come in, or the coffee shop, tavern, same thing. That's the place to sign up so that I will email everybody when we are getting ready. And we'll do a test with, like I said, about 10 people. Hopefully next week. I was really hoping to be able to do it this weekend, but I've been setting things up, so it wasn't this weekend. So maybe next weekend is the one where we do some kind of test. Please do like the stream and check out ravenkeep.net. That's where we put all the stuff that that I've been making, and we'll put things on the stream. So everybody, go forth, be creative, be constructive, and grind on. I'll see you in the morning. Later, everybody.